I know. No, my father-in-law's one of them, and he's still right there. He is in the hospital for 5 days.
He's in Israel.
Welcome to Board Mayor and Alderman meeting for Tuesday, June the 13th, 2023. I'm calling this meeting to order, and we'll now call the roll. So just Alderman Peterson,
Here.
Alderman Hanson,
Here.
Alderman Blanton,
Here.
Vice Mayor Barnhill,
Here.
Alderman Berger,
Present.
Alderman Brown,
Present.
Alderman Potts is absent, and we'll recognize Alderman Baggett.
No, he's gone.
Okay, Alderman Baggett is also absent, so, and the mayor is here also. At the request of Alderman Potts, who is not able to attend tonight, he asked me to have a moment of silence to recognize the life of Parker Glenn Nugent, age 17, a Centennial High School student that passed away recently in a tragic motorcycle accident. So I would ask if we would honor Alderman Potts' request on the moment of silence for this young man and his family and his fellow students who he made an impact on. And then I'll ask Dalton Clark, who's the youth minister at his house church, to come up and lead us in the invocation. So if we'll please stand and join me in a moment of silence for Parker Glenn Nugent.
Father, thank you just so much for this day, Lord. We're just so thankful that we can come here and gather. We just pray today, Lord, that you're with the Nugent's family. God, I pray that you're comforting and just giving them peace right now, Lord, in this tragedy. I pray, God, that you're just knowing them and just giving them everything, the strength, the comfort that they need right now, Lord. And I just pray right now for this meeting. Lord, I pray that you're in this room. I pray the legislations and everything being passed today, Lord, that it is from you, God, that we look to you first, Lord, that we don't look to humans or people, but we look to your sovereignty and who you are, and we try to walk in righteousness with everything that we do. So I just pray, God, for this meeting. I pray that what is passed today can be just righteous and be in your ordinances, Lord. We're just so thankful for you. We're so thankful for who you are. We love you. We praise you, Jesus. In your name, amen.
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have one speaker card tonight, and I'd invite Jared Sullivan up. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Sullivan.
Hi there. My name is Jared Sullivan. I'm a longtime Franklin resident. There are many decent, reasonable people in this town. Alderman Hanson is not one of them. She's already spread conspiracy theories about the Covenant shooting. Then last week, the Herald reported that Hanson emailed, as a city official, in her official capacity, the president and board of the Nashville Airport and demanded that it withdraw financial support from an upcoming Juneteenth festival in Franklin because she took issue with the group behind it. Hansen told the airport that it needed to, quote, write a check, unquote, to another organization and support their Juneteenth event instead. Hansen finished by threatening the airport, saying that if it didn't comply, citizens would retaliate against BNA's board and even jeopardize their personal business interests. This full email is online. You can go find it. If you don't believe, take my word for it. With this email, Hansen violated several of the city's ethics policies. That the city's ethics code, for one, forbids officials from using their position to secure any privilege for themselves or others that is not otherwise authorized by the city. And that's exactly what Hansen did. She sent the email from her city email address using her official title to extort funds for a specific organization. And she no doubt did this without the okay of BOMA or city staff. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys gave her the okay to do that. Alderman Hansen, you are an embarrassment to our beautiful city. Things will be better the day you leave office. I beg the Ethics Committee to launch an investigation. Thank you.
I have no communications from the Williamson County Commission. I will now go to approval of the minutes from May the 23rd, 2023 work session and May the 23rd Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson.
Second.
Is there a second? Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's vote. Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
And Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. I do have a proclamation, but before I get to the proclamation, are there any special recognitions or miscellaneous reports we need to recognize? Seeing none, we have a proclamation tonight, and I'd invite Laura Musgrave and Cassie Jones up for a proclamation about Alzheimer's.
Just got Cassie, it looks like.
Looks like I got just Cassie. Thanks for being here, Cassie, and thanks for bringing this to our attention. Whereas Alzheimer's disease, a progressive neurodegenerative brain disorder, tragically robs individuals of their memories and leads to progressive mental and physical impairments, and there are no known treatments to prevent, cure, or even delay the onset or slow the progression of Alzheimer's. And whereas Alzheimer's disease is the 7th leading cause of death in the United States and the 5th leading cause among the elderly, and tragically 1 in 3 seniors dies with Alzheimer's or another dementia. And whereas in 2023 it estimated that Alzheimer's and other dementias will cost the nation $321 billion, and in Tennessee nearly 367,000 family members and friends cared for people with Alzheimer's and other dementias, providing 496 million hours of unpaid care, and the annual value of the caregiving was $7.7 billion. And whereas fewer than 1 in 5 Americans are familiar with mild cognitive impairment, which can be an early sign of Alzheimer's, about 1/3 of the people with MCI or mild cognitive impairment due to Alzheimer's disease develop dementia within 5 years of diagnosis. And whereas the month of June 2023 has been declared Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month to help spread global awareness of the Alzheimer's Association's vision of imagining a world without Alzheimer's disease. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Ken Moore, Mayor of the City of Franklin, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2023 as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, and encourage all citizens to wear purple to help spread global awareness of the Alzheimer's Association's vision of imagining a world without Alzheimer's.
I just want to say a quick word to Mayor Moore and the City of Franklin. We just appreciate your support. Most of you all know I'm passionate about this cause. I lost my grandmother, my mom, and most recently my sister to the disease. And what Laura and I try to do is create awareness in Williamson County. It is the 3rd leading cause of death in this county. It is the 5th leading cause of death in the state of Tennessee. And what we're trying to do is let people know that they're not alone, and we're trying to raise awareness so we can find a cure. And I appreciate you all's time tonight.
now going to the consent agenda, and all items on the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing body. They'll be approved as recommended committee or by staff with one motion of the governing body. We're looking at items number 13 through 24. I'd entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, seconded by Alderman Blanton. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
I'm sorry, was that?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. Alderman Brown?
Yes.
And Alderman Potts and Baggett are absent, so passes unanimously. We'll now go to item number 3. This is a public hearing. Consideration of Resolution 2023-23, a resolution amending the Eastworks District PUD subdivision to extend the vested rights for the property located north of Meridian Boulevard and west of Carruthers Parkway, located at 9009 Carruthers Parkway.
Good evening, thank you. This request is to extend the vesting period for 2 years, from July 14th, 2023 until July 14th, 2025, to allow the applicant to secure any necessary permits and commence site preparation. I'm so sorry. The development plan for the Eastworks District was approved by BOMA on July 14th, 2020. The plans included a mix of hotel, restaurant, retail, office, and multifamily uses. The project had 7 modifications of standards detailed on the staff report and approved by BOMA. The differences in today's zoning ordinance versus their vested zoning ordinance are minor and could be incorporated into the design without major changes to the plan. The Planning Commission recommends approval by a vote of 8-0, Resolution 2023-23, if BOMA determines that the continuation of vested rights is in the best interest of the community. Thank you. This concludes my presentation.
Does anyone want to speak during the public hearing on this issue?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dirk Melton with Market Street Enterprises. I don't really have a lot to add, but staff did a terrific job of explaining our situation. We continue to be awfully excited about being part of this community. We've got a beautiful first phase. Design is getting priced. We'll be in for permits shortly, and didn't count on COVID, but we're getting through it. And we're just very grateful to be here tonight and appreciate your consideration of our request. So thank you.
Does anyone else want to speak to this body? Seeing none, I will declare the public hearing closed. Entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Peterson, any discussion? Alderman
Yes.
Peterson.
Oh, go ahead.
One of the, of course, I'm definitely in favor of this, but I just wanted to say that on the, since this is a PUD, it is 32.5 is the density there. The middle 8 is talking about, I believe, 38 density. So thinking about where there are very dense buildings for people to live in and everything, generally out in this area instead of close to downtown.
Alderman Brown.
Mayor, I'll support, obviously, the motion here. I would like to say, though, I feel like we've done a lot of these, and I get COVID, and I get, cost of goods and all of that has gone up, but we're doing a lot of these lately, it seems like. Yet we still have the pressure of needed housing, and we still, and yet we continue just to approve because we need the stock, but yet we're not really building it on the timelines that we originally had. Maybe this is a Development Services Committee discussion, or maybe a future work session. I just love to know, kind of an understanding, sort of what's in pipeline, what the impact of this push out has been, and how much more do we think we're going to be doing this? I mean, how is there any kind of forecast of what we think we're going to continue to push these vested rights? Because I just think it's, as we're thinking about how to solve the challenge of housing, continuing to push 2 year out on every project isn't helping us. So just a question that I have that I would love some understanding of that at some point.
Alderman Berger.
Matt, I hear what you're saying, but we don't really have control over pushing it 2 years out. I mean, they have no control over that. It is the market, you know that. Preaching to the choir here too, but I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, one of the questions you asked, I think, is a good question that, what should we look forward to as far as how many of these are being pushed out and what are we expecting? So we have a handle on where's development going for housing and things like that. That I get. The other part I just want to make sure that we're clear on is the fact that they have no control over these things. And there's no getting around it because of the market, the banks, the financing, they've had to wait on the financing. So they don't go anywhere unless the financing's there. The financing has been rough and we have to work with that. So I
Right.
think development, planning, all of us have to work with that. So we're going to be seeing, we have been seeing a lot of them. We're going to see more probably. Hopefully it's going to settle down. But I think, Emily, the question he asked that would be helpful to know is, give us a forecast what you see going forward, because Matt did ask a good question there. But the other thing I just wanted to reiterate is
Yeah.
the fact that, we have to work with that.
Understood.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, I could say also, this particular area is really a redo of the office space that's there, and it had a lot of parking around it. And so now they're really they put together something that would fit in much better now. But actually, I believe this was the first big
Yeah.
office building that was built in that entire area.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would mention too that this is the first big redevelopment project for Franklin. It's a huge redevelopment project. And I think if I'm not mistaken, that parking lot is at least 1 to 2, maybe 2 football fields of parking. So we're going to get rid of a lot of that, so it'll be
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah, and by the way, don't misunderstand, I
No, I
support the
Yeah.
thing, we keep,
And
in
the
my
other-
mind, I just like to have a little bit of perspective about what I keep seeing as we're doing it, that's all.
But we could also say, if you don't go forward with this, then they have to start all over again.
Oh, sure, sure,
So,
sure.
Mr. Gerd.
Thank you. The conversation and questions are well taken, and we'll try to do a better job in providing analysis when we do receive these requests. But I want to take this opportunity in our presentations with the projects that have requested extensions to date. We have made it clear that the regulations that were approved and applicable to a development when it was approved haven't substantially changed. So the development will stay the same. And the other thing that's very important in this conversation, that even though the vesting is asked to be extended, if any permitting development fees change, they're applicable to the time when they take the building permit. Fees are not vested in a project.
Good point.
So I want to make that clear. So as the fees increase, they pay the fee when they take out the building permit. Thank you.
Ready to vote?
Yep.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Now, item number 4, this is a public hearing. Consideration ordinance 2023-17, an ordinance to amend the budget of the city of Franklin for FY 2022 to 23.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board, Mayor and Alderman. Michael Walters Young, your Budget and Strategic Innovation Manager, and happy budget evening for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for 2023. Ordinance 2023-17 is an amendment to the current fiscal year 23 budget. You'll note that the next 6 or so items on your budget all pertain to various aspects of budgets and fees and rates. But before you take up anything for the next year, we need to amend the current year to make sure that it's in order and on an apples-to-apples comparison. The item that you'll take up next is already stated with this amendment having been executed, so therefore you can compare those two. The general fund, which must remain in balance, is going up revenues by $4.3 million here at year end. As you know, we prudently budget our revenues conservatively, and as collections come in better, then there's usually money left over at this time to be able to do something with. Consumption continues to be strong, and so $2.6 million in additional local option sales taxes, $520,000 in additional state shared tax collections, $550,000 in additional alcohol tax collections, and $1.25 million more in property tax collections. I'll explain how that is divided here in a moment, as well as $21,000 or so that the city received as part of the nationwide opioid settlement. We're also reducing grants down $1.35 million for transportation-related projects. It's not that we lost the grants, it's simply that we didn't get the project done in this fiscal year, and so that's been transferred into fiscal year '24. All things must remain equal, so therefore expenses also go up $4.3 million. The majority of what we're doing is trying to pay it forward. So we're transferring a series of funds from the general fund into other funds. We are making up the majority of next year's request for the capital vehicle fund with a transfer of $1.5 million, an additional $1 million to help fund the closed pension plan, $833,000 for additional street paving, and $500,000 to the sanitation fund to meet year-end cash requirements as set by the state of Tennessee. This is only the second amendment of the year, so therefore there's a lot of things that were done with wages since the first one that we never came back to you on. So if you recall, there was a series of compression adjustments. There are vacancy adjustments, which if indeed there are no vacancies in a department, those departments need to be made whole. That's included in this number, as well as additional overtime needs in the police and fire departments. There's also roughly $363,000 in other expenses. That is mainly building repairs. We're doing some work at the roof on Fire Station 5. And again, we're reducing the expenses by $1.35 million in transportation-related projects and $287,000 in city court software. We are still working to try to find the vendor for that purchase, and we hope to make it in fiscal '24. So in other funds, we are increasing the street aid fund, as I mentioned, for additional paving by $833,000. That is comprised of two components, $750,000 directly from the general fund and $83,921 in the city's collection from the sports gaming tax, which we received and can only spend on street-related projects as per the bill. The aforementioned transfer of the sanitation fund and $268,500 in the hotel motel fund for in ARPA-related monies, the work that you're currently seeing going on in the 2nd Avenue parking garage for waterproofing and repairs, as well as further modifications to the 2nd and 4th Avenue parking garage counting systems. Finally, I'll close with debt service. $750,000 is coming off of the debt service because this is simply a pass-through fund. What we do every year, as you can see the budget, is we assume that it's charged off to 4 funds: the general fund, the sanitation fund, the hotel motel fund, and the road impact fund. There's a balance that has been allowed to grow in that fund. We estimate it will be near $1.5 million at the end of this year. That money does not need to be there. It is simply a pass-through fund where we pay the bills of the debt service out of. So we are recapturing that $750,000 and redistributing it in the aforementioned transfers. And I mentioned the capital vehicle fund. With that, Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to stand for any questions.
Does anyone want to speak to this body? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Great job, Michael.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Brown. Any discussion, any further questions? Ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's it. Passes unanimously. Item number 5, this is a public hearing, consideration of ordinance 2033-18, an ordinance to the city of Franklin, Tennessee, adopting a budget for FY 23-24, providing an effective date. Mr. Stuckey.
Yes, let me kick this off, and I'm going to give you a brief presentation. It will cover the broad points, but not everything, in a 482-page budget document. And it will cover really items all related to items 5 through 9 on your agenda tonight. So this one presentation will really provide the background on all of those items. Let me bring this up real quick. All right. So we'll walk you through our overview of just our goals in this process and the budget process that The board reflected in the budget goals you set for fiscal '24 and the initiation of this process, maintain high-quality services, preserve our capacity to respond to future needs and meet quality of life needs within our community, invest in and plan for the future, and be a highly competitive community. Just to talk a little bit about our process, it kicked off in December with the budget goals that you set. We also provided you in January a revenue model that really estimates how large the pie is from a revenue standpoint and what we'll have to work with in terms of financial capacity. Then our departments prepare kind of budgets on two levels. First, what we call a base budget, which is the basic level of operations and service that we provide today. What will it cost? We estimate that it will cost in the coming year. And then the second element is where are there opportunities for enhancing services, improving efficiencies, different elements within those budgets that may constitute a change in operations. And so those are specifically defined and provides an opportunity to modify the budget with those initiatives. An added wrinkle this year is at the end of the budget reviews that the Budget and Finance Committee heard, there was an opportunity for the board to give us some feedback on those enhancements. So that was something new that came from feedback we received from the board. And just a little bit of a sneak preview. 14 of your top 15 collectively are included in this budget in one way or another. We either did them through some of the budget amendments that Michael talked about at the end of this year, or are included in some way in the budget that we're recommending to you tonight. This is sort of a graphic depiction of that process really starting in the fall and running to where we are now with your final votes here in June, and the budget becomes effective July 1. Of 2024 or 2023 for the start of fiscal '24. Big picture overview, the all funds budget. So collectively, this budget is $218.1 million. That's an increase of just 0.5% compared to the existing budget. Your general fund, which is our primary operating fund, is at $102.5 million. That's an increase of about 3.4% over the current budget. Some key highlights that I'll run through here real quickly. The budget overall is balanced in terms of ongoing operational needs, ongoing revenues meeting ongoing expenditures. It fully complies with your policies on debt and fund reserves. It maintains and builds on our service levels. The property tax remains unchanged. Our property tax rate of just a little bit over 32 cents per $100 of assessed valuation remains highly competitive. It is in fact the lowest property tax in the state of Tennessee for a city with a population of 50,000 or greater, and also lower than most, if not all, of our competitive cities that we look at in various comparisons. The budget does add 3 new positions within the general fund. Those are all 3 within the fire department and constitute on-shift fire personnel, 1 per shift. There are several reclassifications or upgrades of positions across the organization. Areas such as streets, police, fire, engineering, communications all have some modifications there. We did add a position in water management, but our total number of funded positions remains the same. The budget does include a general pay increase for our city team members of a base 3% increase, and then an opportunity for additional increase based on performance of up to an additional 2.5% for our team members. We are able to hold the line on health insurance for our team members this year, which we feel very fortunate to be in that position. There are a few fee adjustments recommended in the budget, specifically a $1 increase in the monthly fee for residential trash and recycling. That moves that from $22 a month to $23 a month. That is an all-inclusive fee for all the services residents receive in terms of trash recycling, yard waste, bulky items, et cetera, fully constituted in that rate. We are following your rate plan for water utility and our sanitary sewer utility. Those are done on a calendar year basis, but we're including that in the budget actions that we're asking you to approve, and that's a 3% increase in 2024 for water and a 3% in 25 also in water. And then sewer would be 2.5% in 24 and 2% in 25. Again, that fits your rate policy or five-year rate plan that the board approved previously. We do include strategic plan initiatives, tie-ins with that, performance measurements throughout the budget so that we're focusing not just on what we're spending, but what we're delivering to the community. Next series of charts just give you an overview of where those dollars are, where they come from and where they're going. Our total revenues within the general fund, again, $102.5 million. 58% of that's local sales tax. So a significant portion comes from there.
Very unusual.
Yes, it's very high compared to most cities across the state. State shared tax is also a form of sales tax that comes back to cities based on our population. And then the property tax that remains after we pay our debt service, attributable to the general fund, is about 11% of our revenues. Then you see a collection of smaller ones, 2 to 5% in various areas from fees, other taxes, building permits, franchise fees, et cetera. Looked at a different way, 79% is based on a consumption-based tax in one way or another. That is good in some ways because it takes the burden off of the property tax, but it also does provide a little bit of sensitivity to when there's changes in the economy. That's why your policy in place for reserves is probably a little stronger than most communities, because if we hit economic hard times, sales taxes and other consumption taxes will drop quicker and sooner, and we want to have a protection to maintain high level of services as we weather economic changes, should they occur. So where do we spend the money? And if you look at from a functional standpoint, we spend nearly half of it in the public safety realm, so police and fire, and then a collection of other areas, public works at just under 15%, our finance and administration around 10%, our community economic development likewise. So in terms of those categories of expenditure, nearly 3/4 of that expenditure goes to personnel expenses. We serve the community through our people, and that's where we spend most of our money in wages and benefits for our nearly 770 team members. Then we have operational expenses, about another 1/4, and then about 3% for smaller equipment purchases that help support what we do every day. This is just a long-term, just what have our results been over the last 9 to 10 years. When you look back fiscal 25 up to the projected or recommended fiscal 24, you'll see consistently living within our means where we project revenues, but we have consistently spent within those and added to our fund balance, which gives us capacity to protect us against financial or economic downturn, but also gives you about $30 million of cash that you can, by policy, use for capital investment projects, which reduces your need to go and issue debt to deliver on infrastructure projects. Just in this last year, we're projecting as we close out fiscal 23, and Michael walked through some of those final actions as we finish the year, we estimate we'll contribute at least $2.7 million to that fund balance and remain in a strong position where that's about 75% compared to your projected budget in the upcoming year. This is just a summary table, lots of numbers here, but it summarizes the $218.1 million total budget, growth of just 0.5% compared to the current budget. You'll see a couple places where you see a little more growth than you might normally expect in sanitation, those services. You'll recall that we made a major effort in this last year to secure long-term capacity for landfill and recycling services. That, along with continuing growth in the community and growth in demand for services, drives that fund up a little bit. And we are, again, asking for a $1 increase in that monthly fee. And in water management, we hit our peak in terms of debt service as we bring the water reclamation facility, that expanded and upgraded facility, online this year. And we've issued significant debt to help pay that, but got that at a really outstanding rate through the state revolving loan fund for a 30-year borrowing at less than 1.5%. So that really, that takes full effect in this budget as we've been ramping up and completing that project. Finally, the budget does meet your goals that you established. It puts us at a high level of service, but at one of the lowest property tax rates in the nation for a community of our size and in our competitive set. We also are continuing to support our city team. Last year, we did a comprehensive update of our compensation plan for our team. That remains fully supported, and we're providing good, strong support going forward for that plan and for our team members. You're putting about $14.5 million of cash into capital investment and infrastructure projects that will be spent in this year again, reducing our need to go to debt and go to the bond market to support long-term capital investments. And then your reserves remain at a strong position, and your financial position is extremely strong and is supportive of us maintaining our AAA bond rating from both Standard & Poor's and Moody's. So that concludes what I wanted to share with you tonight. I want to thank the Budget and Finance Committee for their diligence in the last several months in hearing a number of presentations from each of our departments. I want to thank the departments and their leadership for the thoughtful budgets they put forward, their stewardship of public dollars. I want to thank our budget team, especially Michael Walters-Young and Chris Franklin, for their work in supporting the budget and the budget process throughout. And I'm proud to recommend this budget to you at second reading, and glad to take any questions you might have or any comments from the public.
Does anyone from the public want to speak on this issue? If not, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. We'll entertain a motion to approve the budget.
I'll make a motion. I would like to maybe ask a question too.
Second.
I motion.
Second, Alderman Brown. Go ahead, Vice Mayor, ask your questions.
What is the percentage of the fund balance that we are looking to keep? Is it 35%, 40%?
The policy is 33%, and then everything above 45%. 45% is eligible for use in pay-as-you-go capital investment funding.
So right now, we would need to have 45 million in fund balance, right?
To meet the 33%, you'd need to have around 35 million probably to meet the minimum threshold. And then everything above 45 million gets you funds that are available for pay-as-you-go capital investment.
Okay.
So there's approximately 30 million of available cash that can go to support projects.
At some point in time, just put it on the agenda to kind of look at as far as budget and finance is concerned. I don't think Ann would mind. And I'm pretty sure no one else on that committee would mind too much. Let's just look at that and see. I mean, we may want to raise that percentage.
Sure.
Or may want to lower that percentage, depending on where we would like to be at as far as fund balance is concerned. So we've got 35, 40, 45 million dollars in that account. We should be patting ourselves on the back. I hope I am.
We'd be glad to do that. And we developed that policy about 14 and a half years ago, and we revisited it a time or two. We look at what AAA cities are doing. We're a unique AAA city because we're not only rated AAA, but we're also experiencing pretty dynamic growth. Most AAA cities are more fully built out and more just stabilized, whereas we're still experiencing pretty dramatic growth along with the strong financial position that we're in. So that's a fairly unique set of cities, but we try to look at how we compare in those areas, and we'd be glad to give you some more background on that.
Any other questions or comments? Ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 6, this is a public hearing, consideration ordinance 2023-19, an ordinance, the City of Franklin, Tennessee, establishing the municipal property tax levy for the FY 2023-24, providing an effective date. And I think Mr. Stuckey just addressed all those issues. So is there anyone who wants to speak to this body? If not, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed, and we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Brown, seconded by Alderman Hanson. Thank you. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 7, this is a public hearing, consideration of ordinance 2023-20, an ordinance to the City of Franklin to amend Appendix A, Comprehensive Fees and Penalties, Chapter 17, Refuge and Trash Disposal of the Franklin Municipal Code to increase the fees for collection of garbage and refuse. Does anyone want to speak to this body? If not, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman Peterson. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
No.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
And Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Passes 5-1. Next is item number 8. This is a public hearing, consideration of ordinance 2023-21 as amended, an ordinance amending the City of Franklin Municipal Code Appendix A, Comprehensive Fees and Penalties, Chapter 18, Water and Sewer, for the purpose of updating water and sewer sanitary fees. Anyone want to speak to this body? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Vice Mayor. Second by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 9, this is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2023-38, resolution of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for the City of Franklin adopting the extra revenues and expenditures for the water and sanitary sewer utility fund for the fiscal year 2023-24, providing an effective date. Anyone want to speak to this
The
body?
effective date.
Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Entertain a motion.
Move to approve?
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Is there a second? Second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion?
What's the effective date?
It's with the fiscal year, so it'd go into effect
July-
July 1,
July 1,
2024. The rate adjustments will happen January 1 of 24 and January 1 of
Yeah.
25.
Okay, just wanted that said. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 10, this is consideration of ordinance 2022-19, an ordinance to rezone 7.9 acres from Civic Institutional District to Residential R4 District, property located south of Battle Avenue and west of Cannon Street at 1406 Cannon Street and 319, 401, 403, and 405 Battle Avenue. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
I thought this was the withdrawal one. I'm sorry. This is the
They're
withdrawal.
withdrawing
Yeah.
this.
Isn't this being?
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
It's totally withdrawn, no,
It's a, yeah. It's a withdrawal. Yeah. the
Motion
is to
withdrawal.
let's go
should be
back,
withdrawn.
It sure
Well,
doesn't
it's
say
not
that.
It did in the memo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
so.
Clarify the
is it
motion is to
fine?
withdraw.
Will everybody
Yeah.
forget what that motion was and go for a withdrawal of this particular item?
Yes.
Thought that's what we got.
So,
Is there a second?
second.
No, who made the
I
original?
made the original
rid-
motion.
Okay,
I'll-
and
I'll-
second.
Yeah, I'll withdraw.
Everybody clear?
Mm-hmm.
Any discussion? Ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 11 is consideration of ordinance 2023-12, an ordinance to amend Title 8, Chapter 2, Section 219 of the Franklin Municipal Code relative to background checks for beer permit applicants.
Mr. Mayor, before you do a motion, it might be helpful, this had been on the work session.
Yes.
We didn't get to it. One of the things when we talked about our last work session, you asked us to compare it to what some state standards were. And so we'd like to have Jessica walk through what that is. And if you'd like to modify this and based on that information, we'd welcome your guidance there.
Sure. Thank you, Eric. Good evening. I just wanted to address the question that was raised at the work session last month regarding the TABC's look-back period for their background checks for liquor licenses. Currently, it's 8 years. However, there is new legislation that has recently passed effective July 1. It will be 4 years.
Why is that?
Any questions?
And we're proposing 10.
We were proposing 10 because there are two different subsections in our code currently that address background checks for beer permit applicants, and one of those sections already has a 10-year look-back period. The other has no look-back period. So we were proposing 10 so that our two subsections would be consistent with one another.
So the current state standard is 8, but they're moving towards 4.
Four, right, and ours was 10 and then no look-back period for DUIs.
So we would have to go back
And
and
we would-
change ours to 4 when the state statute goes into effect?
up-
We can,
it's really
we
up to
can
you.
make ours whatever
Whatever-
we want. We don't
Okay.
have to make ours
What-
dependent on theirs, but if we want to mirror theirs as what we know it's about to be, we can do that. It's really up to you all.
What did she say about DUI? I didn't hear that.
So our current background check ordinance has no look-back period for DUI. So if you have a DUI on your record from 25 years ago, I'm obligated to disclose that to the beer board for them to take into consideration when deciding whether or not to approve your beer permit.
25 years.
Yes.
Wow.
But if there are other crimes on your background check with 25 years old, those aren't disclosed. Those aren't returned to the beer
Well,
board.
Doesn't that seem a little odd? You're going back 25 years for DUI.
That's not
It's
exactly,
not
not
really
a-
25, it's no limit.
it's no limit.
So it could be
We're going to
whenever.
say it for 10 years.
Unless it's expunged, it stays
Yeah.
on your record.
So
Yeah.
the proposal is to align it at 10 because
So-
that's what the other standard is, but the state standard is 8
So
moving to 4.
if you're a kid at 18 or 19 and you get a DUI, and then you're an adult later in your 40s, you're still going to be held responsible for that DUI as a kid,
No.
No.
Right, well,
is what I'm hearing.
if we change the ordinance to only have a look-back period of 10 years or 8 or 4, however, it would not be disclosed to the beer board. And I will add that the way it's written right now, even with disclosure to the beer board of a DUI that's 25, 30, 40 years old, it says that it may be denied. They still have the discretion to still approve the beer permit. It's
I mean, I'm
just-
not opposed to looking for DUIs,
Yeah.
absolutely not, but I just felt that
So-
sounded excessive.
I'd like to make a motion.
Alderman Blanton?
I'm the one that brought up the TABC, and I do think it's important we're consistent. I'm going to make a motion that we adopt 6 years, which is somewhere in the middle. And I will comment a little bit more if I can get a
I'll
second.
second it.
Thank you. I just think, personally, I've not had a DUI. It happens, and I think that even a second offense, I think it holds a 2-year jail sentence. So there's a lot of life that can change within,
Yeah.
I mean, a short amount of time, surely by 6 years. And I think when we had nothing on 1 and 10, and they're going down to 4, a happy medium to me is 6.
I agree.
Any other comments? Ready to vote? Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
So you've got to change both of those now.
Right, I understand the amendment is
So they're
changed
consistent.
both subsections to
Yeah.
a
So
6-year.
you got to
look-back
add 6 to where it was 0 and change the
10
10 to 6.
Yes, that's my understanding as well.
I don't, I don't think it makes much difference, so I can support that right there, but it doesn't make much sense to do the 6 either. There's no logical reason for that. No, there's not. There's no, yeah, it's 10 and 10 is what it is, and all you're doing is going back and looking at somebody's record 10 years ago. Yeah, something could happen, and you want to go back and look at somebody's record. You're only allowed to go back now 6 if this passes like it's been made a motion of. But again, I don't think it makes, I'm just trying to figure out, I can't see where it makes much difference. You want to do 6, see how it rides. But you
Any
gotta
other
do both of them.
comments? Ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
No.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
And Alderman Brown?
Yes. That was
Passes 5 to
confusing.
1. Okay, we're going to go to item number 12, which is Resolution 2023-01, a resolution to approve a pilot payment in lieu of taxes program for the In-N-Out Burger. Tonight, we're honored to have a number of the Williamson Inc. members and their economic development team, but in particular, we have Mike Abadi, who is here representing In-N-Out Burger, and would invite him to maybe just greet us and tell us what the secret menu is.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the board. Before I get to the agenda item, I just want to, on a personal note, thank you for your public support and proclamation for Alzheimer's awareness. It's an important topic, and I'm glad you guys are bringing awareness to the subject. I lost my mom 6 weeks ago, and it's just something that's near and dear to my heart. So God's grace is here, and we're so thankful for you guys. That being said, so good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to come and just share a few thoughts on behalf of our company and share the excitement that we have about the project that we are proposing within your city. To do something that's this historic for our company is a really exciting proposition. You know, we operate in 7 states today, and we're going to be here operating stores soon, but it just, you know, we battle the big company moniker. You know, we have 391 stores. So this is a special move for us to extend our eastern boundary past Texas to come here. There's lots of reasons, but the largest is the value proposition and what it means to us as a company, and to share that value proposition with the state and the city and the county. So we're excited about bringing, 277 jobs, I think is what's proposed, but I'm certain it'll be more than that. To have a 85 to 90 or 100,000 square foot office building that we end up designing and putting on site, as well as a restaurant there on the property on Goose Creek Bypass, which will be before not too soon, or not the too distant future. It's just an exciting time for us, and I'm thankful for your consideration, and happy to answer any questions. But before I step down, I just wanted to share with you, this thought occurred to me, that we have a mission statement that has three tenets, all very specific in nature, and the last one of which is assisting all communities in our marketplace to become stronger, safer, better places to live. It's a pretty tall order here in Franklin, but I can tell you that we're a pretty competitive bunch, and we're going to make that happen. So thank you all for your consideration this evening, and I look forward to your support.
Thank you. And given that, I would entertain a motion to approve the pilot.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, Alderman Blanton. Any discussion?
I just want to say that I think I have an employee for you today. The other day, I just have to give this little caveat. I was in the bank, and a fellow walked in to deposit some money from obviously a company he's working for. He had In-N-Out Burger on his shirt, and I went, "Oh, do you work for In-N-Out Burger?" He said, "I wish I did." And I said, "I got a deal for you. I have an inside track if you haven't been watching the news." And he said, "I did hear they're coming." And I said, "Well, they're hiring." And he goes, "I'm going to apply." I had to share that with you.
Ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Hanson?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye. We're adjourned.